A mai nap záró előadásában egy nagyon érdekes téma kerül előtérbe, méghozzá az, hogy milyen módon lehetséges az európai szinten nagyon divers testnevelés oktatási rendszerek minőségének ellenőrzése, összehasonlítása és nyomon követése. Előadóm dr. Marcos Onofre, a Lisszaboni Egyetem humánkinetikai karának tanszékvezetője, az Európai Testnevelési Szövetség alelnöke. Előadásának címe a Testnevelés minősége, az EUPEA tapasztalatai az Európai Testnevelési Obszervatórium, az EUPEO létrehozása kapcsán. Az előadásának a társszerzői João Costa, Dora Carolo és Claude Scheuer. Dr. Onofre, önnél a szó.
Then I return to the congratulations to these two organizations. SEREPS is now doing a great work for the European dissemination. I have here on my backside the last book that they prepared on research on physical education in school sport. That is a very, very important synthesis of what is going on in physical education in Europe. And I'm saying that because we are talking about this, and we are going to talk about this theme during this presentation. I also would like to stress the importance of HSSF as they have been a very great partner in EUPEA, and their contribution, or your contribution, to the development of this idea of quality in physical education. It was very, very well appreciated for all the members of EUPEA, of course, and namely for the partnerships of this project that I'm going to present here. Physical education quality, the European Physical Education Association, this means EUPEA, experience on the construction of the European Physical Education Observatory, is the theme of this presentation. I will try to explain as much as I can what we did on this during the last 3 years. I have to say that this work was supported also on the contribution of other colleagues, namely João Costa, Dora Carolo, and Claude Scheuer, that you know already. Our presentation will be split in the 4 parts. I will do an introduction, namely to show you what is the main aim of EUPEA, what is our intention as an European organization. And then for parts 2, 3, and 4, I will go to presenting the different I would say background and procedures that we used to implement this very, very well important, or very, very important instrument for physical education in Europe. So as for the introduction, I have to say that I'm both vice president of EUPEA and the coordinator or European coordinator of this project. And my responsibility is here is also to present you what is the EUPEA now structure. EUPEA was founded in 1991 in Brussels. This was a very important initiative took by many physical education teachers teachers association all around Europe in order to try to build an organization that could fight for the physical education. I would say now, using the current ideas, physical education quality. There is a declaration from Madrid in 1991, amended after in Brussels in 2011. And the result of this amendment was that we cannot accept any kind of conceptual orientations and practical solutions in education without considering the importance of physical education. This is very important. As you know, historically, physical education have been the poor partner of the different subjects in school. And this is not acceptable for us. And we try by this statement to stress the idea of the importance of physical education. So EUPEA can be seen as an umbrella organization of the National Physical Education Association in Europe. We are not now only for this kind of organizations. We are now including also higher education institutions and also individual members. So we are trying to reinforce our strength fighting for physical education conditions in Europe. We are now more than 30 countries, or representing more than 30 countries in Europe. And our main aim is really to focus on the promotion and on the advocacy for physical education. And this is one of the main aims of this observatory project that we run since 2016. Then we submitted in 2017, and we started with this in 2018. And that was to have something that support our claims for quality and physical education, our advocacy. We cannot do this without evidence, and the observatory will be, I believe, a very nice way of getting this evidence. Well, when we start on your right side of the slideshow, you have the EUPEO logo. We choose this one, and you can see that in the very end of the expression EUPEO, there is an eye, and this eye is what we would like to develop for physical education in Europe. But we had some incidents on this. We didn't start directly to raise this proposal. We discussed it within EUPEA board and within EUPEA members, the importance of stressing the quality in physical education. We try to find some literature on this, as Dr. Thomas already said and mentioned. There are a lot of work on this, but we try to review this. We try to collect the main statements from significant institutions all around the world, international, European, and national ones, of course. We also had a very important seminar on quality of physical education with UNESCO, and from this we also get an important contributions for the definition of quality of physical education. And we also had some former experiences in surveys about this idea of what was going in Europe about physical education. So these incidents are very concrete, and we publish a lot of material on this. We have to mention this one that was prepared by Claude Scheuer and Martin Olsweg, based on this seminar that we ran with UNESCO in Paris in 2014. And from this, and based on I would say, an inductive content analysis of the teacher's discourse there, we go for these 3 dimensions of structure, process, and product categories as the main dimensions to refer to the quality of physical education. Some aspects were related with input or human resources, of course. We call it the structure. Some of them were linked with the context and process. And this was the category of process, and some others was about the impact or the results that came from physical education. This was a very, very nice seminar in April 4th. Many people attended, and by this we also reinforced the idea that we could go for a clear perspective on quality of physical education. I have to say that at the moment, our intention was to develop the idea of quality in physical education in a different strategy, not a very common to the others that were raised until then. And that was a strategy of bottom-up perspective. Our idea was came from the teacher's ideas, teacher's perspective, and go for this inductive process by underlining the main perspective of the teachers, and based our formulation on quality of physical education, not only on the literature, not only on the international organizations, but mainly based on the voice of the PE teachers. So this was the work we done, reinforcing the publication from the Scheuer and Olsweg article. Before this, we ran also a survey that we published in this International Journal of Physical Education. And I believe that it will be very easy to reach it for you. in 2012, and our aim at that moment was to analyze what we know about the European physical education reality, namely by trying to understand what the different countries had in what concerns physical education and school sport, and what the different members that were represented at the time in EUPEA desire to the European physical education, if it was a common and collective perspective or not a perspective based mainly in their national experiences. So this was also something that we did. We from this we could realize that the situation in Europe at the different levels of structures, process, and outcome was very diverse. Then we are leading with diversity on this, from the south to the north, from the east to the west. There are many different solutions for the physical education teaching delivery. Then also we found that something close to a monitoring system will be very helpful, to have a regular collection of data and a regular rationale about what was the meaning of this diversity and what we could do to stress the commonalities of these different systems. So I have to go faster because the time is going out. So the initial general aim of the EUPEO, I'm sorry, I'm listening the translator. This confused me. So we try to raise this aim as the general one, to develop an European monitoring system for physical education, but not only for physical education, for school sport, because in many countries in Europe, we have this curricular solution for physical education and extracurricular solution for school sport and other physical activities, and its context of implementation, namely by trying to cover these issues of curricula, teacher training, logistics, learning outcomes, and so on. So these were the initial specific aims for EUPEO. We were at the time aware awareness that the indicators for physical education were very important to help us, that we have to build a kind of systematic process for data collection, analysis, and feedback recommendations, not only to get the data, but also to return back this information to the schools and to the teachers in order to help them to improve their quality in physical education. And of course, we had also to think about the logistics or the way to implement it. When we discuss it, what kind of indicators would we use? should we use, we decided to go namely for these ones. This was the starting point, I would say, the teachers, facilities, timetables, curricular processes, assessment processes, and so on. And it was based on this idea that we submit the project. And the project, you can see here, the HSSF was participated by many different countries, and in some countries by different kinds of organization. For instance, in Hungary, it was only the HSSF, the representatives for physical education teachers. But in Portugal, we tried to join these two organizations, one from the Faculty of Human Kinetics and the other one from the Portuguese Society of Physical Education, as we did it for instance, in Germany, also by considering the co-partnerships between the SLFV and WGI and so on. So our idea was to, there was a limitation of 10 partners, but we tried to stress this kind of strategy that was to invite in each country at least 2 organizations, one from the scientific side and the other one from the professional one, to join us. And this is our recent history. We started the very first of 2018. We expected to end in the 21st of December of this year, but due to this COVID situation, we asked for an extension, and we are now waiting for the answer from the European Commission. These are the partners, and as more than the 10th accepted in the project apply, we include the associated partners. So you can check everything about the EUPEO project in many, I would say, social media or social networks. Here you have the site for the EUPEO to better understand what we are doing now. Here you have the access to Twitter, and here to the Facebook page, and by this you can also better understand what we are doing. This is our timeline, and we worked mainly in 4 work packages by producing 5 intellectual outputs. I don't know if you are familiar with this kind of semantic, but this is the way the European project normally name the results that are expected from the different projects. And this is the way we prepare all our journey. The main operational aims of EUPEO project was to prepare two pillars of the observatory. One of them was, we call it MIA, and MIA means Manual for External Assessment, something that externally could help the different countries to have a global image of what is going on physical education, school sport, and other forms of physical activities in their countries, and to enable them to compare their situation with the other countries and so on. And another one was the team. Team means the toolkit for internal monitoring. And this is something that we would like to use to help the schools, specifically at the very, very local, local situation to control what they are doing for physical education and how they can improve it in order to contribute from their specific situation to a more general one in their country and so on. So this was based mainly in different in the production of different questionnaires. For the MIA team, we try to use a national external learning assessment system for the MIA, namely, and for the team, the European School Questionnaire and the European People's Questionnaire. You can, I'm a bit late and I'm going to go forward. The part 2 of the project was to produce and to pilot the different instruments, and we tried to do this during the last months here and here. This was the different dimensions that we finally considered to use to monitoring the physical education. One of the dimensions was what we call it the physical education national strategy. The way the schools are trying to improve community partnerships, the quality of facilities, equipment, and resources, the way the teachers are organized and their careers are organized in each country, the way teacher education is provided in each country, and the curriculum characteristics of the physical education. So we try to use these different dimensions by choosing different items to be included in different instruments. We have now 4 instruments at least: a national external learning system, the European countries questionnaire, the school questionnaire, and the people's questionnaire. And in some of them, we collect information for only 1 or 2 or 3 dimensions. This is different from each situation. So I have here some links to access the questionnaires. I had no time to do this, but as you can use, I believe that the PowerPoint will be delivered to you. You can try this by clicking here, and by this going in the different questionnaires and try to answer to this, because this is very important also to be aware what we are asking for by these instruments. Sorry, let me correct this. Yeah. So nowadays we have this kind of things. We have a platform based on the MIA and team. MIA and team has both independent variables to be measured, but also they have common ones. And we are trying now to work on this idea of the organization of the databases on the collection, based on the collection of these two instruments. The MIA will be for the European and national level, and the team will be for, as I explained before, for school and student levels. So the perspective is a perspective of an ecological view of all the indicators that we select as the representative of the quality of physical education. So we have already produced this, some national and European reports that are available in our webpage. And also we have there, not yet quite finished intellectual output for the manual and for the toolkits, but this is also something that you can see in its draft version in this I would say site. So I prepare also some examples to show you the usefulness of this instrument. This was something that Dr. Claude Scheuer prepared as a representative of EUPEA based on some, not all, but some of the data that we collect in Portugal, Germany, Czech Republic, and so on. And you have here some comparisons about the PE national policy, the teacher workforce, the teacher education. Also for the curriculum, you can see that, for instance, in Portugal, no cycling, winter sports, swimming, and traditional games are normally delivered, but in other countries, yes, namely in the East and North countries. The same for school sport, curriculum of other forms of physical activity, namely the active transport, if they use it or not, if they improve it or not, resources and so on. So this was only to show you what is the potential of this observatory, as this allows us to have a more concrete, objective evidence of what is going on in each country and what is different from one country to other country. So as for the future, we have to finish these two intellectual outputs because they are only in the draft solution, and we'll go to finish this final report. And the final report will include everything about what we did during this project, and this will be, of course, published with open access for all of you. And by this, we will have the opportunity to disseminate all the work we did. Finally, due to the COVID situation, we had to postpone these final transnational project meetings, namely namely the ones that related with the multiplier sport event. This means the national and international events to disseminate what we did and to illustrate the potential of this work. As we are obliged in each Erasmus Plus program, we have to thanks to all these people that since 2-3 years ago are working on this project. A lot of people people that came from universities, from the field of schools and so on. Thank you very much for all of them. And for you also. Oh, the Schweppes is now covering the phrase. Thank you very much for your attention.
Készült Magyarország kormánya megbízásából az Európai Unió támogatásával.